How's it going, everybody? Hello and welcome. This is Chart Request Live. We do this every week, twice a week, every Tuesday and Thursday. How's it going, everybody? Hello and welcome. Shit. This is Chart Request Live. We do technical difficulties. Here we are. I'm here with my esteemed co-host, Patrick Dunawilla. How are you, Pat?
I'm doing great. Cannot
You're
complain.
charting today.
I am, I know. I kind of like it when you're in the reins, but this is fun too, right?
I'm excited to sit back and DJ this one. All right, so
You
let's
can
jump
play
right in.
backseat chartist if you want, as much as you want.
Any thoughts? You want to give us a little, what you missed since we were here Tuesday, or?
Yeah, you keep hearing that we need to correct and all that because we have had this incredible move. November was one of the best months ever, and we're not really correcting. We're just kind of trading sideways in this real tight range, just like we did before that second pop here. So, they say don't short a Dell market, and either this thing's going to get rejected at those summer highs, or we're going to break out and then test all-time highs. So this is really the last major resistance level before all-time highs, or before we at least test all-time highs. Whoa, I don't know what's going on with this.
Put some color on that thing. It sure looks like a correction to me.
You're saying through time.
Sideways for a few weeks. Is that not corrective?
Right. No, that's absolutely. Yeah. And like we talked about this with Bitcoin, right? Where you kept thinking that it needed to correct, but it didn't. And then it would just trade in this really tight sideways range. It would get real boring for a couple weeks because it would just these real small, less than 1% moves, which for Bitcoin's nothing. And that's kind of what's going on with the indices here. They're not correcting through price. They're just going sideways. And that's really healthy. I think ultimately we pop and test.
Do the little guys now.
Do the little guys. All right. So we got Russ 2000 here. This one, you're really looking for a test of the top end of the range here. We got that failed breakdown here at the bottom end of the range, and then we captured the midpoint right around, I think it was around 1800 here, and that was like the 200-day moving average and a bunch of other important indicators there. So now you're looking for a test of the top end of the range around 2000 there. But we've seen a nice stand up from Russell this last couple of weeks. KRE, regional banks have been an area that has kept down the Russell all year. But you can see here, testing those summer highs. If it breaks out, Steve, I think this one could get back to those 22 lows pretty quickly because look at this. It took you 2 days to get from those call this 56. Took you 2 days to get all the way down to this 48, 49 level here. So that to me, what do you think? Like, do you think there's like a volume pocket there? It could kind of move quick, or am I overthinking?
Words right out of my mouth. A volume pocket, a memory gap, right? Call them all sorts of different things. If you had volume at price, if you're playing along at home, throw on the volume at price indicator, you'll see it there, but you really don't need it, right? You can see it in the chart. Right. Throw up, I bought some banks this week. Throw up Key Corp, KEY.
Okay.
Now, you see the volume pocket. Now zoom out. Zoom out.
Want me to go weekly?
Zoom out. And you'll see two other gaps that happen in this same pocket. Go back to the COVID. See these gaps over here?
Oh, wow.
We gap through this area every time we're there.
Oh, wow. I see what you mean. Wow.
I put this on for a little gap fill trade. I think the banks are really getting ready, though. If you were to drop a 200-day moving average also on a lot of these bank charts, you could talk yourself out of the trade. Yep. So let's talk about indicator math real quick.
Sure.
Over the next 2, maybe 3 weeks, that moving average will be sloping higher because all those candles from the March banking crisis are going to roll off. Now change the 200-day to a 180-day to show exactly.
Oh, you're right, Steve. Yeah, that was about 200 candles ago. So you're saying as like that, that'll all get erased, and then a month or two from now, we probably won't have anything from March, April.
Flip the 200, change it to a 180 period, right? Because that's going to remove those higher prices. Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Starting
what
to
the
curl up.
200-day will look like soon, right? Because
Yeah.
I was almost talking myself out of the bank saying, I don't like the way this 200-day looks. And I said, wait, this is just a math formula. So what's behind it? Yeah, right.
Yeah, this is the 150.
Anyway, let's dive in. You ready to go?
That's a great point there, Steve. Just kind of being aware of where that drop-off point is. But yeah, let's dive into the tickers.
Well, I think we got a pretty good place to start here. Eric, GBTC. This is the Bitcoin Trust. Grayscale.
Oh man, Steve, you can speak to this one as far as a vehicle for crypto a lot better than I can. But this thing's going to look just like Bitcoin. I think if we look at this one, we probably want to look at Bitcoin first.
Agree.
And Steve, what do you think of GBTC as a vehicle?
It's good. It's good by me. Good. Green light.
So Bitcoin working on its what, 8th straight week, 7th straight week.
Yeah, so good.
And yeah, winning streaks, they're kind of just fun facts, but they're also like just a show of relentless strength. So they're a little more than a fun fact to me. I think in the near term, you're going to want to watch this 48, 49 level for potential resistance here in the near term. But ultimately, we could go down and test 30,000 again, and I think we're still in a bull market, and that would be painful, and people who got excited about crypto will, maybe get a little quieter, but overall it's still, yeah, that's 32% lower. It could fall and still be in a bull market. So, those are the tough parts about crypto. But
I think you're doing the right thing by looking at a Bitcoin chart, right? So if you're buying GBTC and using it as a vehicle, I would enter and exit based on the Bitcoin chart.
But this is interesting that it is above those 2022 highs here, whereas I don't think this is GBTC.
Well, it's because there's been a massive discount to the net asset value in this fund for years that probably just over the past 2, maybe 3 quarters has pretty much disappeared.
Yeah. And what does that discount change based on?
Well, do you remember when people were worrying about how they were custodying their Bitcoin? There was a rumor earlier this year that Grayscale's Bitcoin Trust was not safe, that their Bitcoin was not safe. And that created a massive discount to their net asset.
Oh, okay. And so it's like based on investors' confidence in the...
Yeah, kind of.
I see.
But no, this one's good. There are some dead bodies up there, but we're slicing through right now. And what I would say is if you flip back to Bitcoin and you go and you look at, I don't know, late 2020, early 21, after it completed its last base, how was the corrective nature of that uptrend? Did you have a chance to get in?
There was nothing. Yeah. That's a great point. The only thing for me, we talked about like that price memory on the KRE chart. Now we're entering this whole mess. And I think that is where things could get difficult and just a little choppy for the next few months. But that's a great point. When this thing starts to go, see, I'm expecting more this type action once we actually do go. But, you see this like here as it approached the former highs, you kind of had a few weeks, few months of mess. So, there's a lot of price memory up there, a lot of dead bodies, as you called it. So I would be licking my chops to buy this thing on weakness. Like, you should want to see weakness at this point.
And a lot of these alts, like Ethereum was a good example, gave you a nice coil over the past few weeks. Like if you look at like a Solana right now, flip it to Solana.
This is one of your favorites.
Like these are the patterns that you want to or have to buy in uptrends. Right?
Yeah, you're saying this little this flag here, this.
Yep. There's your correction. That was it.
Yeah, just super tight after a huge move.
Yep.
You know, instead of that sharp correction, you're seeing that sideways tight action, kind of like a bull flag. Wow, that is a nice chart, Steve. So what
Did
do
you
you
see
got?
my Ethereum chart on Twitter today?
I didn't see it yet. No.
Getting everybody riled up.
See, that one's a clean break to me. This is one that I bought a couple weeks ago. I tend to stick to just the major cryptos like Bitcoin and Ethereum. Steve gives me crap for that. He knows I've missed out on some awesome opportunities because of that.
No, I mean, listen, I'm doing it I'm doing it similar to you this time around. I promised myself I'm not allowed to buy NFTs. I'm not allowed to buy helium miners. I'm not allowed to buy cryptos below top 100 by market cap. It's my
I
line.
like it.
Yeah.
You're doing this bull market right.
Hopefully, we'll see. All right, next, Gerber.
All right.
Support and resistance in Tesla.
What? Oh, okay. Ooh, all right. So we got a little Tesla coil going on here, little puns. But no, seriously, I mean, it is coiling up. What was the Tesla coil? Do you know anything about Nikola Tesla?
Nope.
I think it was like his way of generating electricity or something. I don't know.
Apparently, a lot of people really like them. I mean, I think Elon Musk must be a fan.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, coiling up here. We saw it coil up similarly, like right here. You know,
Yeah.
coils to me don't tell me a whole lot about which way price is going to go, but it usually tells me that like a big move or a big trend is brewing. It's telling you that there's disagreement between buyers and sellers, and that tends to, once you finally get resolution from that period of disagreement, you tend to see a large resolution in either direction. And this one, from its old coil, kind of resolved lower, and we saw that decent pop there, but you could kind of cheat here. It's kind of still in that coil, it hasn't really left.
Pat, there's a comment in the chat. Why don't you draw it this way?
Yeah.
CM is saying Tesla is in a downward parallel channel. I think he's talking about the channel that began this summer. Right.
Maybe drop into daily.
Yeah. If you drew it from the peak in July, right, and then a parallel line below it, I could see it that way too. That's fine.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Like, here, let's see.
Downward parallel channel, but an upward sloping 200-day moving average.
Man, I don't even have my channel tool. I don't use it too often, but
two lines.
Do you ever use channels?
No. Oh my God.
This is a Fibonacci one. This is
holy cow.
Yeah. Sorry about all that, but
some of the tools that they have on these things. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What CMT chapter was this one in? Rainbow channel.
But no, I see what he means, right? Like kind of this thing, right?
That's it. Yep.
Yeah, that I see that. Either way, though, like you're gonna want to see it break that downtrend line. That's like kind of the upside objective. Yep. If it does, you're gonna be looking probably at 300 as your next target. That those August highs, that bear market rally highs. And you can see it kind of topped out there earlier this summer. So if it does break that little channel, and that is a channel that I'd totally call that a channel. It's a good eye, whoever pointed that out. That'll get you 300, I think. A test of 300.
All right. Next we have boom. Let's go to Wavy.
Hey, Wavy.
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 A generational buying opportunity in SAN. I believe that's Santander. So yeah, Banco Santander. Ooh. Generational buying opportunity, not a phrase I would typically use for a bank, but I do see what he sees here.
Steve, though, I got to tell you, man, my thinking with these banks all year up until recently has been just avoid them, let the dust settle. Yep. You know, they're banks. They're not going to give you that much juice anyway, even though they have fallen a lot. And you know how it is. After a waterfall decline, it's never as simple as just buying and then you get a nice rebound. it's not usually like that. It's usually a bottoming process where you get an initial pop, everyone thinks it's a return to normal, and then you get smacked down and you just keep building that base. But for the first time, I think the banks, like we look at KRA, I know we looked at that, but I think they've formed that base. I wasn't too excited on that initial pop because, again, we're not just going to return right back to normal. So, but I think this is enough of a constructive base to get you at least to these highs. Maybe we come back and retest it before going higher, but anyway, so Santander, right? SAN. So this one, I like what he's seeing here.
Zoom all the way out. Zoom all the way out and show this trend line breaking.
Oh, man. Oh, wow. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, dude.
I think it was John Murphy in his book. He says that you should start trend lines from like the second reaction because often the first high or the first low is a little often overshoots the trend.
Or another thing that's popular among technicians is don't be afraid to draw it right through a point that maybe rips through it, right? That's fine too.
Yeah, like this kind of thing. And you saw the really, really dramatic exit after that failed move.
These things aren't supposed to be perfect.
No.
Line.
Right.
But you could see the nature of what's happening here, right? A very slow and gradual transition in the long-term trend. They also pay you 2.5% if you're interested, because this is a long-term pattern. This is a structural pattern that the way we're drawing it up or the way you're drawing it up now. So if you're buying something structural, you want to think about the dividend yield, right?
Yeah. So this one, looks really, really nice here. This is kind of, I'm sure you could find a Head and Shoulders in there if you really looked, but either way, it looks kind of accumulative. And at 425 level, if that breaks, that gets you $5. And that also coincides with that trend line break. So this is a really good one. Nice eye wavy.
Throw up the relative real quick before we're done. SAN, EUFN.
Okay, so you're looking at it versus the European financials. What's been going on with those, Steve?
A lot of them are working.
More so than US?
Banks, yes.
So this is Santander relative to European banks. So if this breaks out, you're also getting that relative strength. I like it. I like it, Wavy.
Good stuff.
Bring the heat.
Next, and we're getting to the chat real quick. Pat, rip through these. Boeing and Visa.
All right, Boeing. Ooh, they brought Visa. All right, Boeing. This one's been a messy one. Man, Boeing seems to love these like V-shaped recoveries where it just like it'll go straight down. Look at this. Like you barely got a green candle in here, right? Same thing here, where you barely like it just chugs higher. Similar thing recovering. So this is obviously these summer highs here, pretty important. We're testing them now right around 240.
This one's been a problem ever since the plane controversy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like 4 years ago.
Well, it really, never really recovered from COVID either.
That happened around the same time. I think that was like early 19, the plane controversy.
And what was that? They were
I don't remember.
Something to do with their new plane, right?
They weren't safe, and they passenger aircraft, so that's a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of a big deal.
There was like a scandal. The executives were like covering up the lack of safety.
Okay.
What specifically it was, but it was like a big cover-up thing. Yeah. Look at this. Terrible.
Yeah. Oof.
I don't know.
And this kind of reminds me of the Russell 2000 for some reason right here. This just 2-year range, and then you finally got that breakout, and that ended up being a failure. So this one's a real messy chart. I think you got to be careful with it. Aerospace and defense in general, though, getting a nice little perk up recently. You look at XAR. This is the aerospace and defense ETF. Steve, check this out. I got a little indicator here. We'll see if it works. No, maybe not. Supposed to give me the components right here, so I don't have to go to Koyfin, but there we go.
Oh,
Yeah. So this one, you got Boeing in here. You see it, it's I guess it's over those highs now. But this has been a weird chart, man. The aerospace and defense one. I know you're not a huge fan of these ETFs.
no.
But this is in there, so I'd almost rather be buying this than I know I just said I'm not a huge fan of these ETFs, but I'd almost rather be buying a basket of aerospace and defense here than Boeing itself.
I think what you're saying is there's better stuff in that space, even
Absolutely.
the index itself.
Yeah, you're right. I'm being a little too nice here.
Yeah, no, which is
But
fine.
Steve, check this out. So that little indicator, look at that. So if I pull up Boeing, it tells me it's 16% ITA, 3% of the Dow, all that.
You'll have to show me that later. Wow, look at TradingView innovating. Visa, your favorite.
Okay, yeah, Visa. I'm supposed to rip through these quick. Okay, Visa. We covered this one a couple weeks ago. Beautiful, beautiful secular uptrend you can see here. It's been a secular leader, but it's been basing within an uptrend for the past 2 years, like a lot of these awesome stocks. So this one, I like it above 250. I think 250 gets you 300. I mean, doesn't get any simpler than that. We don't even have to spend more time on this one. 250 gets you 300. Beautiful trend. I really like this one.
Lulu.
Oh, Lulu reports today. So this one is really, really interesting. Steve, I texted you, I think on Tuesday or Monday. I said, so Lulu reports on Thursday. They just got downgraded by Raymond James on, what is it, Tuesday or something.
What do they know?
It's pressing up against all-time highs. I was like, Steve, do you think they're trying to get a big client in before earnings or something like that? It's tough to say, right? We'll never know. But I think that stuff absolutely goes on. It's not just folklore. I think, if they have a client that they really want to get in, they'll do stuff like that. Am I wrong, Steve?
You can rack your brains about all of the sketchy stuff that probably happens on Wall Street, but it's not going to help you.
Right. And so I asked you, I said, am I wrong to interpret that as bullish information? You said, it's a nothing burger. It's nothing. Don't interpret it as anything. So I think that is truly the best way to look at it. Not everything is a piece of information. But I'm really interested to see how this one plays out tonight after earnings. We're testing all-time highs right before the report. That's pretty big. Steve, you'd probably know what the expected move is better than I would as far as options.
Secular leader. Yeah, you could check in the options market. I don't have it handy. What I do know is that they're looking for street estimates, 228 a share in earnings and about 2.19 billion in revenue. And frankly, some information about Lulu that I am interested in is that all of my friends are into the Lululemon pants. He's buying them. So I don't know.
The Lululemon pants. I like it.
All right. One more before we get to the chat. Tradeweb. I used to own this company. Got some friends over there.
I don't think anybody knows about this company more than you do.
Oh, I know lots about this one.
Am I allowed to say why, or?
I just said it. Yeah, it's fine. I used to audit this company.
Yeah.
I did their going public audit.
Yep, that's right. And you mentioned some really interesting facts about it. They're really involved with some of their biggest clients are the biggest players on Wall Street, and they kind of have a vested interest in the company.
Yeah.
So this one looks great. Testing those former highs might need a little more time before it finally cracks. On a lot of these charts, we've seen they come back and either they break out or they get rejected. And then they spend the next 3 months or so building a little handle or, little second base. And that's really constructive because I think what that does to market psychology is it makes all the bulls or anybody who was getting excited about this, it kind of makes them forget about it. Sentiment calms down a little, and then you get the real breakout and it goes. But this one looks great.
Do you look at a chart like this, Pat, and say, target hit?
That's tough. That's there is somebody out there who's thinking about it like that, right?
I mean, you're just about there, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And that's
level.
probably what creates that initial rejection is people who were looking at those former highs as a target. We often say on our trades, we're betting on this thing. Our target is a return to all-time highs. That's our objective. So when it's met, that creates that supply, right?
100%. We got, I'm sorry, who is it here? Alex, reach back out. I don't see VRTV. I see
Oh,
an Italian
VRT.
stock, VRTV. What? No, that's VRT. So I don't know. Let us know and we'll cover it next time. Let me hit the chat.
I know this one is one that has been getting a lot of buzz, so we can talk about it real quick. Talk about objective net. This thing, objective net. I mean, I think it was a SPAC. Looking at that action before it really got going, but
A SPAC before SPACs were even popular.
okay, so I guess it hasn't hit the 1618 yet. But I don't like this. I don't like this divergence. That's a really, really sharp bearish divergence. You got like one of the most overbought readings ever, and now you can't even get overbought. So that's a little bit troubling. Divergences. There's a great quote. I think it's from Justin Mamus. It's like divergences are like laxatives. You never know how many are enough. You never know if one or too many or two is too much or something like that. So. But the point is divergences can persist for a while, so it's tough. You want to wait for price to confirm before getting bearish on it, but it's enough to make me not want to be overly bullish.
Strong uptrend though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally great. Next, CELH. Got a lot of requests to get through in the chat, my friend.
Cool. So Celsius. So this one has been just chugging higher.
So they sell poison, I understand.
Yeah, so they're an energy drink maker. Wow, RSI is huge over here. So
you guys drink these at the studio. I check out the fridge.
We haven't in a while. And I'm okay with that. I'll stick to my coffee. But yeah, we did have these often for a while. But anyway, broke out from a base here in late 2021. That was a failed one. You can see it as it broke out. It was also kind of forming this distributive top. The top never really went though. I think that's interesting, right? Yeah, so you could draw that, like, let's call this the neckline, right? And then you can see kind of just boom, boom. Oh, shoot. Yeah, I mean, totally rocking it here, but you get it.
Failed tops are the best tops.
Exactly, right? And it looks like it cracked the neckline a little and then ripped. So, and that's still a pretty young pattern that failed. So I think this thing rips. I mean, I think this keeps going. And I think it's going to be one of those that's going to be really hard to get in. It's going to be one of those trends that like you never really, it's just tough to get into it. So here we are at the 200, if we pull back to 40, I think that's a decent spot to get involved in. I do like on RSI here how you're not seeing it reach oversold too much. I mean, you got a little blip here, but barely. Looks like it couldn't even. Okay, yeah, went in there a little bit.
This thing hasn't been oversold in like 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those too that you could totally see institutional accumulation for a stock like this. They're growing. They have real earnings and revenue growth. So I could see, I mean, this looks like something that's being accumulated. So yeah, bullish. Get into it if you can.
Pat, SMAR, I think this is SmartSheet.
Yeah. All right. Oof. What a mess, huh? Really tough, messy chart here. Really hard to define your levels. Yeah, I mean, first of all, there's just not much of a trend here. You got this flat, I think we're at 150, but flat 200-day moving average. Really hard to like it. I think I would get interested over 50.
Yeah.
That's important psychological level, but also you can see it's kind of been a turning point here. So I would wait till it gets over 50. It looks like it does have earnings though tonight. Yeah, earnings tonight. So maybe it pops, maybe it gets you back there. If it does, nice. But then you want to see it break 50. If it breaks 50, I think it could go to 80. But
A lot of
there's a
times
lot of nice
you
ones.
could take a chart like this because you're alluding to the messiness here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you click that little double arrow in the top right, it'll remove the price. Do that. No, well, just nope. The double arrow, the one right next.
Okay. Oh, no.
No. That's what I want.
Oh, you did? Oh, you just wanted RSI?
Sometimes you can look at the momentum indicator itself and see that something is completely trendless and a huge mess. Look at this momentum.
Great point.
Oversold, stuck in the middle. Like there's no regime there.
Right. And a bullish momentum regime, for people unfamiliar, you see it just kind of oscillate at the upper end of the range for a while.
Pull up DKNG for a good example.
For what? Which one?
Use DKNG to show people an example of what that looks like.
Yeah, exactly. See, you're not seeing it hit oversold, and just absolutely oscillating towards the upper end of the range here. Holding 50 a lot of the times, that's really bullish. As opposed to this, right, where this is a bearish momentum regime in 2022 here, you're seeing it could barely get above 50. So that's a bearish one. If we bring price back into it,
and you can see it.
Oops, I think I closed it, but yeah. So this is the bearish momentum regime, right? This whole mess, it was unable to get oversold. Wow, really that whole time. Once it finally broke 50, was over here, and that's when you see momentum kind of start picking up again. But
PLTR,
Palantir. All right, so this one, everyone, including myself, I am definitely guilty of this. I got real bulled up on this one a few weeks ago as it was breaking out of this base. Man, I saw so many of us getting bulled up, and that was kind of a red flag, I guess, in hindsight. But this little base breakout here failed, unfortunately. I think longer term, it's still shaping up in the right direction, but it definitely needs to recover that. What is it?
I mean, you could be looking at the range lows here, right? 14, 15 bucks.
True. Yeah. We just kind of do this. Yeah, that's a good point. That really held up as support here. That would be a probably decent place to be adding here, right at the 200-day moving average too. So if it gets there, that's a decent spot for a second trade, Steve. It's like dinner, but trade.
I'm long. All right, next. Avago, Broadcom.
I like that idea though. That's a good one. Broadcom. All right. So you got the base breakout. This thing broke out right after NVIDIA did earlier this year. Very similar company. I don't know. I don't know if they're a direct competitor. I don't know enough about either company to know that, but
AI stuff.
What's that?
AI stuff going on here.
AI stuff? Okay. Chip maker.
Yep.
Do they do business with Apple? I thought that was their big
thing. That changes all the time.
Yeah. So this one, you got the base breakout earlier this year. And then we hit that first Fibonacci level and just months of sideways. I mean, that's 6 months, right? Something like that, May to November. But we popped here. You're going to want to see it hold 900 now. If it can hold 900, next stop, 2618. $1,500. Do you believe that, Steve? You think that's too aggressive?
No.
Yeah. Wow.
Not at all.
Wow.
What? I think it's 50%, whatever. 55%.
Yeah.
This is a nice retest. If you were looking to get in something like this the past few weeks, you're throwing right back to those pivot highs. This is one of the strongest stocks in the S&P 500 this year.
Ooh, you're right. You're right, Steve. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. You put in a daily. That is so clean too. I mean, does it get cleaner than that? Like,
okay. Special request from D1, Tom Bruni.
oh, hey, Bruni.
Broadridge Financial. Do you know what these guys do?
What's the ticker?
BR. Absolute monopoly. They do like
I think you mentioned it last week. Yeah. Go ahead.
This is the shareholder services company. So if you ever get like, letter in the mail about a stock that you own with, about a proxy vote or something like that, that's what they do.
Okay.
So simple, right? There's a lot in the financial space that's not banks. This is one of them.
Yeah, and just, I mean, so many of these companies that just have this weird monopoly on some weird industry like that. And you've never heard of most of these companies, right?
So
some cement company that makes the sparkle things in it or something like that.
This is an Eddie Elfenbein favorite.
Oh, okay.
Shout out Eddie.
They must have a nice dividend, I'm guessing. What's that look like?
I think it's got one of those really, really like perfect dividends, probably like 1%, something small. Let's see. Because they're growing it constantly, and that's just what happens.
But you kind of like that, right? You get nervous when you see like 8%, right?
1.7%. That's right where you don't want it really much higher than that.
Okay. I really like this one. I mean, you got that really nice decisive breakout there, a little bit of a pullback this week. That's totally fine. Perfectly normal for it to retest the breakout. I think you ultimately want to see it hold those September highs, but you're seeing it, it's reacting positively after testing it today. So, man, this is a nice one.
All right, let's do one more here before we get out of here. Two more maybe.
Yeah.
But I like this one too, Pat.
And hey, BR looks good on a relative basis too, right? Holding up pretty nicely, shaping out.
Zoom out.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. So next, hey, Steve and Pat, could you guys look at Discover? My mom wanted to invest in it, and I wanted your professional charting take. I'm guessing it's DFS, Discover Financial Services. I think I owe them money.
Is it, or is it? It's not Discovery, like
Not Discovery. If it's Discovery, like the channel, answer's no.
That simple.
Yes, Discover Financial is the credit card services company or credit services company.
It's decent. I mean, long-term uptrend, held the pre-COVID highs here. So it looks like it successfully tested them here. And
it ain't Visa though, right?
It's not Visa. You're right. And we'll look at those two on a relative basis. That's a great point, Steve. I would definitely prefer the Visa over this. But for diversification, or the fact that you brought it up, Steve, your favorite pattern here, the scoop and score, little fail breakdown, little bear trap, whatever you want to call it. Next thing you want to see, I think this trend line is pretty messy here. You could draw it a number of ways, but you want to see it kind of clear that, and ultimately this whole mess of former highs around 120. I know that's a decent spot away.
Pat, what if you VWAP'd it from the 21 highs?
There you go. There you go.
Look at that.
Man, just playing out perfectly. Okay, cleared that. It's decent, but like Steve said, there's a lot of other better ones in that space.
Yeah.
Or Visa. Wait, what is this one? DFS?
Oh, you did it. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, I was gonna look at it relative to Excel.
Okay. Yep.
Which is kind of messy.
Yeah. Not a leader.
Not a leader, yeah. But it's not terrible. Not terrible. I wouldn't be short, I'll say that.
All right, two more before we go. You guys are the best in the chat. I'm sorry, I'm cutting it off right here. Would I go long Solana at these levels? I literally bought some this morning.
Yeah, I'll leave that to you, Steve.
Okay. So how's that for an answer? And then I called all my friends and complained and said, what am I doing wrong? Why am I paying 4% in fees?
Yes, PSA, if anybody has a cheaper way to buy cryptos, let our friend Steve know here.
Kind of like how I order Uber Eats like every day. I'm kidding. but a lot. I'm doing my job as a shareholder, paying ridiculous fees to Coinbase right now. So anyway, we got 2 more, Pat, and then we're out of here. Look at Docs or Bill. Pick the better one and do that one. DOCS or Bill.
Docs or Bill. Okay. This one. All right. Well,
about crypto, just comment in the chat. I don't care about gas fees. I don't even know what that means. Like, these are like so many things that I don't think about. Gas fees, transaction fees, whether or not they have like a real use case. I look at the charts, I say line go up, I like this one. I'm not buying these things to own forever. I don't want to take these to the grave with me, right? These are trades.
That's a good point. So this one, you got that clear earnings gap here that it needs to fill, and you can see how that's kind of been a tough one. Working on it now. It's really tough to get excited about this one until it reclaims that. That would be a fail breakdown. But just so many other good ones. Again, you gotta see it reclaim that first, and that's quite a bit of work. That's 70 to 90 right there.
But Pat, this is a juicy potential mean reversion setup. And
that's fair. That's fair. You're saying if it does, it goes.
I mean, you hook back. Look at that island. You hook back above those lows from Q1. What is it? 74? What is that? At the Q1 lows. Yeah.
75, 74.
You start filling that little gap from a few months ago, probably happens really fast. That could be a juicy trade.
Yeah. I mean, it's not one that I would love, but I see what you're saying. Like that is a volume pocket there. It could fill pretty quick.
I'll also say I've taken a couple flyers on charts that look very similar to this one over the past few months. C Limited is one that really stands out. SE. These trades have not worked for me. They have not worked. And that is information. Trades that have worked are buying these beautiful rounding bottom patterns, betting on these reversals, buying short-term continuation patterns that came after reversal. Those trades have been working great, like just about all year. These trades, these cute little trades that I've tried to put on, have not been working for me. So I'm going to do less of those and more of the ones that have been working. Right? It's just trader logic.
Sticking with it. I like it.
I'm out now, but
we got any more?
No, we're done. That was great. Thank you guys, as always, for joining us. We love the show. We love all of you in the chat. We'll be here next Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Pat, thanks so much. This was Chart Report.
Yeah, thank you guys.